Hi. So as I'm juggling between three time zones between US, UK, and India, and I'm right now in India. So and also my period seems to be, my cramps are killing me right now. So, and I don't think I'll get a better opportunity to sort of, like remind myself why this work that we are doing and coming together is so important and be able to say this loud and clear and accept this as what I'm going through is important. Without wasting much of my time, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Arpita Sinha. I'm a PhD candidate from Washington State University. And my presentation today focuses on the menstrual health and hygiene of young group of freelance workers, which in my case is the fashion models. And I look at the fashion models in India. And just to give a little bit of what perceptions we have about fashion modeling. It's often considered aspirational and it's associated with glitz, glamour, fame, and luxury. And therefore, we do not often associate the challenges which is associated with this profession.
Nice to meet you. You didn't mention anti-discrimination as an area for intervention, so like harassment policies or bullying at work. And I was surprised at, especially knowing Kate and her discrimination lens, that wasn't an area that you had talked about. And then if there's time, I have a menstrual leave question too. But,
yeah. No, sure, absolutely. This is crucial what you mentioned, and I think that that would go into the awareness and support. So, and I mean, they are very broad areas that I'm not even sure that we are like necessarily dividing like that way, but we are tackling definitely discrimination and harassment, bullying and harassment. That's actually been a focus of inquiry, one of like the study of the caucus in general. We've done like a study on the effect of like the COVID pandemic in research and innovation, and bullying and harassment was like really high on the issues brought up by the participants. So that is definitely an area. I would say that in the three like main areas that I divided, it would be included in the awareness that also includes understanding and training and support in terms of having like support and points of references. Definitely there would be in that.
Thank you.
Great.
Do you have her back?
Yes. Sorry, we lost you.
Okay, I'm so
but you're back. Yes.
Do you guys see
please carry on.
Okay. So I'll just continue. So it's so while the few top tier models might enjoy that status, of vast majority of them don't, and they face exploitation, discrimination, job insecurity. So therefore, I work with a group of young freelance workers, fashion models, about their highly precarious nature of their modeling work. The presentation that I'm trying to give within that short time that I have, and everybody before me did an excellent job, so I'll try not to go over time. So it is a part of my PhD thesis, and I've collected about 33 or 34 of my respondents' work, and I'm trying to compile and have a solid work. It started last year, and I'm right now in India trying to wrap those up. So I've been questioning my respondents about their health implication, questionable working conditions, and stuff like that. Why am I doing critical menstruation studies? While in India, there has been quite a bit of a work done in the rural areas and talked about the poverty that we talk about, but the kind of work that I am trying to do, where it's not because these models have the lack of use of products, but because they do not have the right access to the washroom. They're wearing someone else's clothes all the time. So there are some added layers of, like, labor that we were talking about. And of course, we will be looking into it a little more in detail. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so you are bombarded with a lot of my pictures in there, but I thought that it would be important because I think before starting off as a PhD candidate, I was a freelance fashion model for over 8 years, and that's when all of these things started, and I started understanding what's a precarious nature. So initially, when I started on my project, menstruation was not the element that I thought of working, but then it kind of fitted really well. And as I'm proceeding more into it, I would be more interested to talk about people in the audience there and joining online to see what are the things that we can do in the future if we have a little time to do so. And if not, it would be great to connect in the future over email. So I have been able to sort of live that, and even after joining as a researcher, I've come back to India, and while I was researching, I was offered role as a model, and I've taken that up just to be able to live that up, and it has helped me, like, manage my autoethnographic work. So the work that you see, all the pictures that you see, is pretty much after I joined as a PhD researcher. This is 2 years back, published in one of the leading dailies in India. And while I wear a sheer dress and I was bleeding and it was really messy, and all of those thoughts like keep coming back. But when people saw this picture, they were not being able to sort of connect all the extra labor that might have gone through. They just saw the very fancy, beautiful pictures, which we as models, as workers, we don't mind. But I think when we are talking from the back end of it, and we have to talk about, like, what are the challenges and the labor laws and all of those things, I think it's about time we talk about it. And hence the idea of, like, talking with the models came into it. Um, uh, can we go to the next slide, please? So here are a compilation of few of my, I'm not sure, like, is the third slide on?
Yes, yes, we
Okay.
can see it. Can you?
Okay, perfect. So the third slide, you can see a couple of pictures. The first one, what you see are the topics that I have been asking them about, if they have kind of experienced all of these things in their work life, because access to clean washroom can be a problem because you have been working outdoors. They don't always take into consideration all of these factors, and hence it's kind of a big challenge. So those are the few discussion points I went in. And the picture that I particularly have there right on top with the models wearing saris, that's a particular kind of a pose which you have to hold on for like hours, and then you have to keep on draping saris, and models can go up to 100 to 150 to 200 saris a day. You go in a very, very small room, and then you wear like a bodysuit, and then one after the other you change, and pretty much like you don't even have the time to go in and out of it. So you're pretty much in that posture, hold on to that posture. And I think we all know how cramps and like bloating and all of those can like really impact that. You're not having the time to eat and all of those things. And added to that, when I go to the other side of it, that's the other picture that's on the right side of it. Those are the models wearing white clothes, beautiful white clothes, running around, making sure that, they use the restroom at least 2 to 3 hours before, because, once they get into the clothes, they won't have the time to do any of the time to get back to the restroom and all of that. And this is a pretty regular occurrence. You are not allowed to sit, you're not allowed to eat, you're not allowed to do a lot of things. And when it comes to a menstruation on top of that, it definitely adds an added layer to that. And when you have the skin issues and you have bloating, any minor changes in a model's body can be like detrimental to their career. You go to an audition and you have like those eruptions coming in, they would probably not consider that, on other usual regular days your skin is clear, but you're like, oh, she does not have a great skin. Or you go to a job and you have a pimple and you're being told that, usually you have a clearer skin, so what went wrong this time? So these are the few factors, I think, on a larger scale that, they impact this mental health. And one thing to remember is that these are primarily a very young group of women who are working there. So that kind of shapes up, even if they are in India, the longevity of the model's career is a little longer than what we have the usual understanding in the West, in US, the studies that we have seen. So there are a little difference there, but the most of the models that I've spoken, they say that has been so deeply imbibed in their character right now that they can't do anything else. So even in their older years, in the by older, I mean in their late 30s, in their 40s, they cannot think anything different. So they kind of judge themselves. So they have a lot of those things going on as they mature and age, and they see and their body changes. So these are the few things: leaking, they're wearing expensive clothes, dermatological issues, bloating, changing time is very strict. So you are kind of overusing your period product. So you have your period product. So most of my respondents said that, I have my tampons, I have my sanitary napkins, but I would not have the time to change. And most of them said that they have overused that, which we all know that's not a great thing to do that. So therefore, my ethnographic work covers aspects like changes in physical appearances, medication and pain management. If they have been taking pills to sort of, stop their menstruation, most of them don't even go to the doctors to show that. They would take it over the counter once, which in their later years would be a little difficult to deal with their health. And special precautions to critically analyze how models circumnavigate the problems possessed by menstruating while on job, while impact on their work and health, and how the workplace possess further health risk to them. By looking at the menstruation from an anthropological standpoint, this particular paper that I'm working on, which is a snippet of what I'm trying to quickly trying to just make sense out of it, contributes to the scholarship on the intersection between body, health, and work. So I'm trying to bring the attention to the need for more inclusive and supportive work condition for models, particularly in terms of managing menstrual cycle and health related issues. Thank you. I really hope I didn't go too much over time.